Hello, my name is Adam, and I am a member of the Central Western British Isles 2020 Virtual Lions Club. This presentation is about World Hunger Day, but I want to start by being clear about what this is not. This is not a lecture, this is not a guilt exercise, and it's certainly not about distant problems in far-off places. Instead, I'd like this to be a reflection, a moment to think about hunger as it actually exists today and what it really means. When you hear the word hunger, what comes to mind? Famine, drought, conflict zones? Keep that picture in your head. We'll circle back to it later. Hunger is often misunderstood. It's not just about starvation or extreme deprivation. For most people affected, hunger looks quieter than that. It looks like skipping meals so children can eat, relying on cheap calories instead of nutritious food, constant anxiety about the next food shop, and living one unexpected bill away from not coping. So, when we talk about hunger, we're really talking about food insecurity, uncertainty, instability, and lack of choice. Think about how much mental space food takes up when money's tight. What does that do to decision making, stress levels, or a child's ability to learn? Hunger limits potential long before it becomes visible. Globally, around 1 in 10 people live with chronic hunger. Millions of children grow up malnourished, and the effects can last a lifetime. But here's the important part. Enough food exists, access does not. Hunger is not caused by a lack of food. The world already produces enough food to feed everyone. Hunger persists because of poverty, inequality, conflict, climate disruption, and fragile systems that fail people when life becomes difficult. If food exists, but people can't access it, is hunger really a food problem or a systems problem? This is not a food production problem. At this point, I want to bring this closer to home because hunger is not something that only exists elsewhere. Food banks, free school meals, and emergency food parcels are now a routine part of life in many UK communities, and this is where I'd like to pause and involve you directly. I'd like you to take 5 minutes now, on your phone or device, look up. What percentage of children in my local area live below the poverty line? You don't need perfect accuracy, just the best local figure you can find. While you do that, think about this question. How visible is that level of hardship in everyday life? Thank you. Let's come back together. You may have found different figures depending on area and definition, but they tend to cluster higher than most people expect. To ground this discussion, here is one local reference point. In Worcester City, approximately 22% of families with children are living below the poverty line, measured before housing costs. That's more than 1 in 5 families. Not in another country, not in a crisis zone. Here, when we picture hunger, how often do we picture our own postcode? Hunger doesn't just mean empty stomachs. It means reduced concentration at school, lower educational outcomes, long-term health issues, and a cycle that's very difficult to break. Children who grow up hungry don't just miss meals, they miss opportunities. And once you see hunger as a barrier to human potential, it becomes much harder to ignore. The encouraging news is this. We know what works. Free school meal programs and nationally linked initiatives such as the HAF program, supporting local food networks, reducing food waste, and community-based support. For example, the Too Good to Waste initiative and the Fair Share program, dignified assistance that preserves choice and agency. Hunger is not inevitable, it is solvable. when society chooses to prioritize it. The fact is, hunger persists not because we lack resources, not because solutions are unknown, but because attention is uneven. World Hunger Day is not about feeling overwhelmed. It's about remembering that hunger exists alongside us, not just beyond us. And if 1 in 5 local families are struggling, then this isn't someone else's problem, it's a shared one. I'll close with one Lions-specific thought. Lions have always been at their strongest, when we focus on practical service, close to home, with dignity. So the call to action today is not to donate. It's simpler than that. Notice hunger. Talk about it openly. Build relationships with the organisations already doing the quiet work locally, and when opportunities arise to serve, through time, advocacy or coordination, step into them as lions, because hunger is not just about food. It's about visibility, connection, and whether people feel seen, and that, quietly, consistently, and locally, is exactly where lions make the greatest difference. Quiet, consistent service changes lives. Thank you.